Did I just write the song of the summer?
Fuck! Oh my god! What is going on? Holy shit!
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy. That slurping sound you hear and is Eric Goldman slurping away in the background as he always does. Sir Slurps is what he was called in middle school.
Oh no, what's that called?
We are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Slurps Goldman.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well.
Well, now you have to tell everyone what beverage you're drinking.
I'm having
not any official sponsor of a podcast here, but yeah.
No, a strawberry refresher from Starbucks, which I find quite refreshing. But here's the thing about me and strawberries. Strawberries are one of those things like lemons.
I'm deathly allergic.
Where I like the flavor of it in things, but I don't like the actual fruit itself.
Okay.
And so they have strawberries at the bottom of this, and so sometimes I'm sucking my refresher and I get a chunk of strawberry, and I don't like that chunk of strawberry. I just like the flavor of
strawberry. Do you like pulp in general?
Here and there, like I
the
did
band,
like
the band.
Yes, I like the band Pulp. I like Jarvis Cocker, but I also like a Tropicana Home Style, and that comes with some pulp. And
that's
some
not
pulp
full pulp, though.
pulp.
That's like mid pulp.
Yeah, mid pulp.
So mid.
Everything's mid. Everything is mid.
We are recording this a day after we recorded the previous two podcasts because Eric is in a time crunch here. He is going on his first ever cruise. Let me tell you something, Eric, as a cruise veteran myself, having gone on 3 week-long cruises, kind of against my will, I guess. I used to take these spring break cruises with my grandparents. I know. It sounds super fun. Sounds amazing. Don't be jealous. But yeah, first of all, the ocean is terrifying. I don't think this is anything that people don't know already, but it's awe-inspiring and also kind of horrifying all at once, just because of how big it is. And I'm with James Cameron as far as like this is an area that needs to be explored, if not only to find out what monsters lay beneath the surface, down in the depths that we can't reach, in the shadows, Eric. But yeah, but you're going on a super sweet, cool themed Disney one. So yeah, I went on weird ones. Side quest here. One of the cruise ships I went on an old one that didn't have motion stabilizers yet. So it was very sort of seasick inducing for not just me, but other people. Then I went on a Carnival cruise, which was sort of a more modern version that did have sort of smoothed out motion stabilizers. But then I went on one, and this is very much indicative of my grandparents and how they would book things and don't read the details and didn't understand it, is that we went on a French cruise liner, meaning like the boat itself wasn't French. Well, it was. I guess it came from French shores, but it was a French cruise, Eric. Like everyone was French and the announcements were in French and the food was French. We were like 3 of 10 English-speaking people on board the ship.
Still was.
And a lot of those people weren't like actually Americans. They were just other nationalities who happened to speak English.
Anyway, how did you end up on this cruise?
I was going with my grandparents on these things. So like we would
How did they end up on this?
They just decided, because as they got less mobile, as they got older, that it was best to just go on a cruise and then like stop for a day in Jamaica or Cancun, or we went through the Grenadines and we went to Colombia. This is the reason, Eric, why I've been through the Panama Canal twice.
Wow. I had no idea, Matt. Amazing. Yes, I'm going on the Disney, their new ship, the Wish. And it's got a Star Wars themed bar, and it's got this
does not sound as fun as what I was talking about.
A Marvel themed restaurant with food from Wakanda and Sokovia. And the Marvel there's like some sort of show that's like, involves like footage they shot for this, starring Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp, Anthony Mackie as Captain America, Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, and they just announced that Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel is also part of this. So it's like, wow, so this cruise ship, I will see Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel team up on this cruise ship before the movie next year.
Are you guys allowed to spoil things, story things, after you come off this cruise ship?
Right. What if they reveal
Is
the
this
secret of
cruise
Phase
ship
4.
Is your cruise canon? That's all I
I
wanna
know. I believe they've actually had to go on record at this point because all of the Disney theme park stuff and be like, this is its own universe, because it doesn't make sense because Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff are alive alongside Moon Knight and brand new characters. So it's not canon is your answer. Or it's a different
was canon.
different
Damn it.
I was gonna say it's all canon because of the multiverse though, Matt. So you know.
Well, in that case, why do people even argue about canon anymore?
Just for fun.
Gives us something to argue about because everything in this country is going great. Nothing else to debate. Yeah, not at all.
We figured everything out. Now it's just fictional universes.
In the main event, speaking of fictional universes, this week we got The Last Unicorn, which is an animated film by Rankin Bass.
Rankin and Bass. Here comes the Rankin.
Here comes the Bass. The original Demolition.
I didn't know they made a feature film, Rankin and Bass. So
Demolition, by the way, not WWE Hall of Famers. Just so you know, which is a travesty. So Rankin and Bass, we'll talk about them later, and their sort of their legacy and how this was sort of an outlier for them as far as like what they would produce animation wise, just because it was a movie in the theaters and not holiday themed or anything else.
Right.
And then Eric later on will tell us his pick for a 1982 movie for next week. Our news is a little lean. It was lean yesterday when we were doing this, and it is leaner.
There's only
today.
been one day for more news. Yeah,
it's leaner today. So stuff will break this week. You will get this podcast normally. You will get it at the normal time later in the week. So big things could have happened off screen, off podcast that we're not going to talk about. Can you believe what happened, Eric? This is what we've got to work with, though. It was neck and neck this weekend between Top Gun Maverick and Elvis. And Elvis just, the headline said that they were tied. And then they have all been updated that Elvis just eked out a victory over Top Gun Maverick. Though Top Gun Maverick can dry its tears on $1,000 bills because Top Gun Maverick, though, is reached $1 billion. It's Tom Cruise's first ever billion.
Holy shit. I did not. I don't. And no one saw this kind. No one saw. This
was a movie that was dismissed as like one of those like, you know, decades later sequels that nobody needed. Like, who asked for this? Is what someone in the comments would probably say.
Right. It turns out a lot of people asked for it. Just even I posted this yesterday that even after it became clear by, its opening weekend was so much bigger than anyone expected, and then by second weekend when it had this crazy low drop. It's like, well, this is an actual like sensation and people are loving this. I still was like, I don't think it'll make $1 billion because I don't think internationally will be big enough. But no, I mean, even though it is bigger domestically, and these days that's very rare that a movie makes more in America than the rest of the world and is still making $1 billion. Star Wars movies have done that a couple times. Some others that are just like Batman, that are just seem to like lean American fan base. But yeah, Top Gun, even though I'm looking at I think it was total was like, it's made like 520 over in America, but it's still making like a 400 and something million overseas. So crazy success.
Success. I still haven't seen it. I hope to catch it this week.
Wow.
Just between all my traveling.
Yeah.
I'm not like rushing with my ticket in hand to save it. I'm like, it does not need me.
We need your support.
It doesn't need me. I need it. I hear it's a great movie and I want to see it. As someone who wasn't even a huge fan at all of the first movie, same here.
Yeah. This is better than the first movie. I will say that also, I know this sounds like a stupid fact to throw out here, but it does mean something when you really look at it, which is Top Gun Maverick. I was looking how this weekend it had the third biggest fifth weekend ever, which sounds like a very silly fact to throw out. But what that really means is in the history of giant hit movies, a movie that by fifth week, most movies have played out like what they're really gonna be.
I think that is notable because the movies that we're doing right now, like let's talk about 1982 and E.T. and these were movies like big hits back then.
Stick around for a long time.
They stuck around for like sometimes half a year in theaters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because of that. And now movies are lucky if they can stay in theaters for like 3 weeks or more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the fact that this in such a saturated market right now where movies leave theaters so quickly that this can compete with those old movies.
Well, and not, but even
forever.
not. Some of them aren't old. Some of them are because. So here's the top five fifth weekend ever.
This is
so a movie that in its fifth weekend is still making what most movies would be happy to make opening weekend, which is Avatar #1. In Avatar's fifth weekend, it made $42.8 million.
That's insane.
Guess what?
Yeah.
People were fucking going to Avatar. Guess what? #2, Titanic. James Cameron again, 30 million in its fifth weekend because people said you got to go see this Titanic.
Yeah.
And then the third one is Top Gun Maverick with just under 30 million. And #4 and 5, by the way, are both recent-ish. Black Panther and Force Awakens, both like genuine in America. Like you must see this movie. People who don't go to the movies are going to see this. So yeah, it's just crazy that it's in that company. And now, I mean, it legit. I still think I'm still going to say that I think Avatar will end up being probably the biggest worldwide hit of the year, even though it'll make more of its money next year because it comes out in December. But this seems now, because Jurassic World Dominion is a bona fide hit, but it still seems like it might eke over $1 billion. I don't think any of the Marvel movies are going to be, they're all going to be big hits this year, but they're not going to be this level.
They're not going to be No Way Home. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it seems like Top Gun Maverick will probably be the #1 or 2 movie of the year. And I just don't think anyone saw that coming. So.
No, not at all. And speaking of Avatar, I predict possibly maybe we could do it for a breakout when it gets re-released. I'm definitely going to go see it in the theater again. Here's the thing. We've talked about it. We'll talk about Avatar more, obviously, because the sequel's coming out, but it's been the butt of jokes, especially in the Twitter bubble world, where it's like, who cares about that? You know, people
care about this as much as they care about Top Gun Maverick. I'm
just saying, like they note that, like, you know, nobody remembers that movie. How could it be the great #1 movie of all time when people aren't quoting it, when people aren't like, it's just, but like, I still remember writing articles for like IGN about how people were citing post-Avatar depression, or like, not wanting, like leaving that world, leaving that world left them feeling like wanting and bereft afterwards. And that was a movie that just had so much repeat viewing, like that you don't get to that level without people going back over and over again.
By the way, I just said religious fervor.
Fever too, fervor.
Sure.
Yakety yak, God's talking back. That was the line in Leap of Faith, starring Steve Martin. All right.
Wow. Okay.
Which was billed as a comedy and was not. Sometimes that happened when you had a comedian in the lead and they're trying to do something different, and then the trailer makes you think it's all zany stuff, because his like faith healer stuff was zany on stage a little bit, but like the movie was not.
Well, I mean, look, we talked about how really the past like decade and even a little longer at this point, now we're probably reaching 15 years of the rise of the cable dramedy, where these shows that can be like sometimes very funny, like Barry, which I
or
love.
Atlanta, right? Yeah.
Like, it's like you might get a really hysterical episode, or you might get one that's grim, sad, and harrowing, and you just don't know, you know?
Yeah. Then speaking of, well, do you want to talk about the Comic-Con panels that have been announced, or do we want to sort of?
We can the only thing we can talk about it briefly, which is just to say, you know, we're starting to get some of the official announcements of Comic-Con. It was funny that there was this whole, will Marvel Studios go or not? You know, again, we are in this weird terrain. There hasn't been a Comic-Con proper since 2019. This long gap, and you know what's going to happen, how much of a normal Comic-Con will feel like, who will go, etc., etc. And will Marvel Studios go? Because they're usually obviously like the ones making the biggest splash. And when they went in 2019, that's when they announced everything we've seen almost in the past 3 years, up through Thor. It's funny, Thor's the last thing to like debut that they announced at that Comic-Con. And so there's all this talk, will they go or not? They are going. Kevin Feige revealed it at the press conference for Thor: Love and Thunder last week. Just kind of nonchalantly threw it out there. I had actually known, I knew through some sources, but I couldn't talk about it. They were going, but I'm glad it's out there now. But then today, I will say it's interesting because Warner Brothers Discovery, I should say, announced what they are bringing except for movies. They said that's coming still, which basically is a promise that they're bringing something. But they announced everything they're bringing, and it was interesting, Matt, because they like grouped this giant press release of like Warner Brothers TV, Adult Swim, video games, comic books. And I kind of realized they're making it, they want to make it sound bigger than it is, only that it's a lot of stuff. But you and I remember when Warner Brothers TV on their own would bring like 20 shows.
Yeah, it was, they were a force to be reckoned with.
Because they'd bring
just bring everything.
All the Arrowverse,
everything they had.
Yeah, they'd bring all the Arrowverse, and then they'd bring shows. Again, people don't think about studios, they think about networks. But for us, we would notice the studios. So it'd be like all the Arrowverse shows, and then the likes of Fringe and Chuck and Nikita and like just all Riverdale, all this stuff. And it is notable this year that I think the only things coming from Warner Brothers TV are Riverdale is coming for its final season, The Sandman. I think there might be one more, but it is actually, I'm like, wow, it's way less than usual than it used to be. But no one knows. It's like a weird thing of like, is it just the post-COVID we want to go smaller, or is it the fact that they just had a huge merger and they're cutting back on costs? Because the other thing, I don't know if you saw, Matt, is they're not going to have a booth, and that's a big deal. Like, because the Warner Brothers DC booth was always a big thing. And so, but also there is COVID, COVID's still a thing. So they don't want to bring their fancy stars onto the floor of the convention to press flesh and, sign a bunch of.
COVID is still a thing. We should mention also as Eric and I go and do these things, obviously. Yes. And like you, Eric, I have seen a lot of people who have avoided COVID for 2.5 years. Finally getting it. Like, yes. it just happens. And yeah, you're one of many people I know who have are getting it for the first time. Thankfully post-vax and post-boost. But yeah, it is still a thing. Yeah. And as Eric goes, heads out into the sea to face down Leviathan from the briny deep, he will be amongst plenty of people crammed onto that ship, but also you just had it, so you're still in the clear for now.
I hope, because then there's goddamn Jimmy Kimmel got it like 3 weeks apart, so I don't want to be
what? I'm behind on my COVID and my Jimmy Kimmel.
So. But it's like, because they're like, oh well, it's the different variants. He probably got a different variant. So fingers crossed. I'll do my best.
Gotta catch them all. This is
gotta catch them all. But yeah, so Comic-Con. What I'm gonna guess as we get more of this. We can move on for Comic-Con, but I'll just say it's still obviously going to be a huge deal. Marvel Studios going alone, and then House of the Dragon is going. That was part of their announcement, and the Sandman. These are big deal things, and they're going to pack them in. And Hall H is a thing again. I still think it'll be less, which is kind of what I always figured. I'm like, Comic-Con's going to be huge. It just won't. It'll be more circa 2000 huge, where there was like these big things, but then more quietness around it, and that's fine by me. I'm okay with it not being like every hour is a giant thing.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
It's interesting that there's more content than ever, but it's lightening up. All I know is that you take 2 weeks away to take a trip and stuff like that, and you come back and it's just is it a bear to catch up on things? Because because then I still haven't cracked into Umbrella Academy, and then Only Murders in the Building season 2 starts, and then like
I know
I'm so behind on it all, because then I've tried and then I actually deigned to watch a new thing too instead of catching up like Hacks. When I should have been. I don't know. I don't know where to prioritize. What's my P1, Eric? What's my P1? And
I'll tell you, as I'm getting ready for this trip, I can't name any of the things because I can't reveal stuff. But like we have some interviews coming up at Comic-Con that involve some shows I'm behind on, or I've always wanted to watch but haven't. Yeah. So I'm like loading up my computer for this trip for my flight and my downtime to have some episodes that I've actually downloaded that I can watch, because there's no rest.
And then like Westworld's back, and like that show like seems like it's so smally buzzed about right now anyway. So
crazy,
like,
right?
How do you prioritize that? I have to review it, so I have to watch it, so I can't like even wait till the season's over to like do it. So this final tidbit of news is very quick, but it's Jeff Bridges related, which also sort of connects to our main event with The Last Unicorn. But The Old Man, which is a show that went on hiatus for a while Jeff Bridges sort of battled his way back from cancer. And I don't know, I didn't watch the first episode, Eric, but it did very well apparently, and it has already been picked up for a season 2. And I want to see this show, not so much because of Jeff Bridges, because I'm not like a mega fan of the dude. I think he's really cool. Dude,
He
meaning
called
Jeff
the dude
Bridges
the dude.
and his character. Like, confession, I think Big Lebowski is mid. Anyway.
Same here, Matt.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, it's from the creators of Black Sails. So that's why I'm really interested in it too. So I
didn't realize that. I am interested too. I have nothing to say about this because I haven't seen it, but I do like Jeff Bridges and I like John Lithgow. And I like FX shows in general.
It's what is it? Joel Steinberg and Robert Levine, or anyway, it's the Black Sails guys.
I used to interview those guys all the time at TCA to talk about Black Sails,
which is an official good thing to enjoy here on Last Podcast, and a great show that you should catch. And also, so the old man, I think he's is he like a retired CIA dude who's called out of back into the field or something?
You're telling me more than I know. I know.
Wow,
nothing.
That's it. I didn't know.
I literally know the star and the title.
But I'm assuming he's the old man, but he may not be. There may be an older man.
Maybe Lithgow's the old man.
Maybe the old man is love. Like maybe it's not even a person.
Speaking of what you just said and Big Lebowski, might be a fun thing to do at one point on this podcast is like movies we think are mid, because I almost just tweeted out what movie that I wasn't that into that people love should I revisit? And I was thinking about Fifth Element, Big Lebowski, and there was a couple others.
Oh, I was not into Fifth Element at all.
So these are movies, because I wasn't into it, I have not revisited, but I'd be curious to see what do I think 25 years later? So I don't know, just a thought. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we won't.
That's a good idea, but I know we've got something planned after 82, right? So
yeah, we've got something that's gonna take a while.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So basically, so that one of the shows I had to catch up on was Obi-Wan, which I had to watch the back half of, and we just did an Obi-Wan breakout episode, which you can listen to if you are a Hudson Hawk level Patreon patron. For $4 a month, you can get a completely commercial-free versions of this regular weekly podcast, along with our bonus episodes where we do new movies and or streaming series, usually Marvel or Star Wars related, but not always. So we've got breakout episodes from recently of Obi-Wan, Jurassic World Dominion, and then we'll have probably another one this month, Miss Marvel.
Well, that'd be next month, but yes.
I mean, it's that wrap
June,
up.
June's almost ancient history, Matt.
Oh, that's true. June gloom, and then you're going on. You're heading off into the abyss.
I know,
the official abyss.
Ghost Ship.
Man, the Ghost Ship is great for the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean that movie's existence is justified by its first 5 minutes. I don't remember almost anything else about it.
I remember nothing about that movie.
Yeah, but if you have a great first 5 minutes,
if you have a TV guide, you don't need a TV. All right, let's get into. You can message us at weenjoypodcast@gmail.com. Over on Twitter, it's We Enjoy Podcast, and or the Matt Fowler and the Eric Goldman. And there's all that Patreon stuff that you can get into for extra content. Yeah, and let's get into our good things to enjoy this week. We're trying to do it a little shorter than usual because Eric's on a time crunch because he's got to get on the boat. But I get
on the plane to go to the boat in 12 hours and 26 minutes from when we're recording this.
I don't even know what yours is because you didn't write it down. So it'll be a surprise. So why don't you tell me, what is your good thing to enjoy?
I had a tiny bit of the Matt Fowler, did I recommend this thing? And I know I did recommend it in passing, but I didn't make it a full good thing to enjoy because it wouldn't have made sense to, which is The Black Phone, another now in theaters movie. I know I mentioned it because I saw it.
Yeah, okay, because it didn't come out. Yeah,
I saw it Beyond Fest last fall. So I actually think what I did was I mentioned it going into my actual good thing to enjoy that week.
Oh, so it was like 1.5 good things to enjoy.
Yes, but here's this week is the main event of my good thing to enjoy. The Black Phone, because I wanted people to go see it, and it opened very well, by the way, which is great.
It did. I'm going to see it this weekend.
I know the trailers are out there, but if you don't know that it's interesting because it's Scott Derrickson, the director of Doctor Strange being like his giant, massive MCU movie. But then he notably left Multiverse of Madness, that there was creative differences. By all accounts, it was not like horrible, burned everything to the ground, but they had different approaches they wanted to take.
Yeah, it wasn't a scorched earth scenario. And
Yes.
He came from horror movies like this, and the two movies I'd seen of his were very good. One had Ethan Hawke in it, in fact. So yeah.
And he Sinister, which I still haven't seen, Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I saw a few months ago, but this movie I really love. And trailers I think the trailers are a little too spoilery, so don't watch the trailers if you haven't. I'll give you what I think is a better, more simpler thing, which is it's the movie set in the 1970s, and it is about a small suburban town where there is someone kidnapping kids that they call him the grabber, and someone's kidnapping kids, and our main hero is this like middle school kid who gets taken by this guy, and it's a small scale movie about him as this captive in this basement where he's locked up. And can he make his way out? And the reason the movie's called The Black Phone is because there's a phone in the room. The very bare room he's in, and it starts ringing. And I'm not even going to go into what happens when he picks up that phone.
Yeah, I think the trailer spoiled too much also.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's also parts where you can look at a movie. Like, we've seen enough trailers in our lives where we know what acts things probably came from.
Right.
And you're like, why are you showing stuff from the last reel and stuff? Anyway, but...
Yes. But I really like the movie. I really liked it. I just saw it again because I saw it at Beyond Fest last fall, and then really dug it. And then I was glad when I saw it again last week. It still really held up to me. It's a fun and scary movie. I think it's a crowd pleaser. Like, I can see, I think it got like a B+ cinema score, which everyone is like, that's great for a horror movie, because horror movies notoriously get really low cinema scores because they can be so divisive if people don't like that, like the buttons it pushed. But the one thing I want to say also is about the cast, which is just fantastic. Ethan Hawke plays the grabber, reuniting with Derrickson after they did Sinister. In Ethan Hawke's year of playing villains for the first time, although, as he said to me and other people interviewing him, Arthur Harrow at least is a villain where it's like he thinks he's doing the right thing, where the grabber's just a despicable, awful child.
And I have a bone to pick with that prognosis too, because I think Troy Dyer is a villain. And
yeah, that's true. His third villain is his third villain. Yes. And then but also the kids are great. Neither of whom I'd seen before, but Mason Thames, who plays Finn, the main kid who gets kidnapped, and Madame Legraw, who plays his sister. I think she must be like 10. And they're both excellent. We were just talked about E.T. and what strong kid actors are and that kid performances. They're great. And also it's based on a Joe Hill story, who I know best as the writer of Lock and Key, the comic book, which became the Netflix series. But he's of course Stephen King's son, and there is a Stephen King-ish vibe to this with the kids and the supernatural.
Eric, does have kids on bikes?
There are some bikes. Yes, there are kids on bikes.
Yeah. Well.
So anyway, really like it. It's in theaters now, and it opened well, and you should go see it. So there you go.
I am excited to see it. I'm looking forward to it, and I can't help but think of when I hear the grabber as the moniker for this villain, this serial killer, this kidnapper. It just makes me think of the Seinfeld episode with So Seinfeld had a serial killer episode too, not just Punky Brewster, by the way. Seinfeld's serial killer was called the Lopper because he lopped heads off. So when I hear the grabber, I think of the Lopper.
Well, they're slowly announcing all the Halloween Horror Nights mazes for this year.
Oh, they're doing a Lopper maze finally?
No,
they're doing Riverside Drive.
They're doing a Blumhouse maze, which they've done in the past. And what they always do with Blumhouse is they make it 2 or 3 movies. And so this year it's Black Phone and Freaky, which made a lot of people mention that it'll feature the Butcher and the Grabber, which I think sounds like a great tag team or a book title of its own.
Well, the tag team, the Butcher and the Blade, already exists.
That's true.
AEW,
that's true. Right. But yeah, so the Butcher and the Grabber are coming to Horror Nights.
All right. My good thing to enjoy this week is also it's not a cheat. It's just connected to something I already previously recommended, which is I'm recommending Shoresy, which is the Letterkenny spin-off series on Hulu. There's only 6 episodes, very quick watch. I don't think I'd recommend it to people who haven't watched Letterkenny, but who knows? Maybe it'll work. I think it may. I found myself liking Shoresy not only way more than I thought I would, way more than I have enjoyed the most recent seasons of Letterkenny.
Wow.
So it very much surprised me because, Eric, Shorzy is a spinoff of the title character is named Shorzy, and he is a breakout, hilarious, scene-stealing character from the Letterkenny series, but not one you think you could ever build a show around. He's a hockey player who you never see the face of because he's also played and voiced by Jared Kiso, who already plays the lead on Letterkenny.
Oh, wow. So it's a spin-off starring the same person?
Yes. And so
Amazing.
You never see his face. You just
although Bosch is doing a spin-off about Bosch. So
it's this very much. Yeah, but like this is just the same actor. It's not the same character. So you see his feet from like a bathroom stall, or you see the back of his head or something, or you see him skating around the ice, but he's got a full hockey helmet on, so you don't see his face. And he is just somebody who Vulgarians take note, as all Vulgarians should with Letterkenny in general, just unleashes an avalanche of vile, profanity-filled insults against his teammates and or his opponents and anyone really, and brags about his sexual exploits with their mothers, and which are, some of it seems exaggerated, but also you also feel like it's true, like most of it's true. And it's really funny. So like when I saw the Letterkenny stage show, they had a Shorzy bit. So Jared Kiso got inside the toilet stall. The whole point is that he's berating you while he's taking a shit in the locker room.
Okay.
So they have a whole thing, and his voice is different. So Jared Kiso raises the octaves a little bit. He's like, he talks like, anyway, how could this guy be a character, let alone a character you care about? And that is the miracle of Shorzy, is that it is really moving and really great. And you do see his face. And he has he's got different hair and he makes different facial expressions and he's doing the voice. But man, he comes off as a really great layered character who loves hockey, isn't sort of the piggish prick that you think he is, though he does still do the insults and stuff like that. But it's literally about a small town AAA level ice hockey team trying to win the big one, right? It's just kind of like a sports story at heart, and I think it really works. And it, genuinely moved me and entertained me more than the more recent seasons of Letterkenny. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was just surprised that it was, it worked so well. So my recommendation is Shorzy. It only has one season on Hulu that you can catch.
The entire Letterkenny expanded universe. Yeah,
so if you're a fan of Letterkenny but are on the fence about Shorzy, I will say that it bests Letterkenny. So yeah, that's my recommendation. All right, yeah, the whole Letterverse is out there for you to watch and enjoy. Eric, let's get into it. What is your pick for the 1982 movie next week?
I decided to go a little random here, just looking at 1982 movies and looking at the fact that we're trying to avoid ones that are part of greater franchises that we might do at a different point. I was like, hey, here's a movie I've never seen and I know very, very little about, except that it's supposed to be good. And hopefully that means I'll enjoy it on this podcast that is called We Enjoy. I'm picking The Year of Living Dangerously. All I know is Peter Weir, who you previously recommended a movie of his on this podcast.
Peter Weir
directed it.
I think, we talked about it when I brought up Picnic at Hanging Rock, which was like episode 2 or something.
So, and I know that it stars the ever lovable Mel Gibson, who's not controversial in the least these days. Anyway, that's all I know. I have no idea.
Such a jovial, unifying figure that guy is. Mr. Hollywood, America's dad.
Although I do, looking at the timing in 1982, this must have been one of his like entry points into I'm not just Mad Max. So anyway,
because he'd done Gallipoli right before this with Peter Weir. So yeah, he was doing Aussie movies before he broke out in America. I don't know, was this the big one before he landed here?
Might be. I don't know.
I think he did Road Warrior, but that was still an Australian movie.
Yeah. I'll read up on it once I watch it. Have you ever seen this movie, Matt?
A long time ago. I remember Linda Hunt. I think Linda Hunt got a nomination for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I should say, I mean, when I look at the cast list, I'm like, Okay, yeah, Sigourney Weaver, and the fact that Linda Hunt got an Oscar nomination stands out to me. But that is, and I'm like, is she playing a man? Is she playing? Okay,
yeah.
So there you. I guess I know a little more than I said, but I still don't know what the plot of the movie is. I don't know who's living dangerously. I don't know why they're living dangerously.
Well, they're living dangerously for a whole year, Eric.
Right? It does take place over 365 hours. It's the longest movie ever.
Actually, we just talked to, or I brought it up. I brought up Peter Weir. I don't know if, again, we'll research it more next week, but I don't know if this was his American movie debut, but he did Witness. And I remember when we were talking about E.T. and the scientists sort of coming over the hill, because there's that famous shot in Witness. That's actually kind of on the poster too, of the three guys.
Witness was 3 years after this, so maybe that was his, maybe the next movie. So
Peter Weir is great, underrated guy.
Yes, he is. So I'm very curious about this one because I know so little about it. In 1982, blank spot for me. It is not streaming anywhere, unfortunately. It is available to rent or buy anywhere you want to rent or buy movies. All the major, your Apples and your Amazons and whatnot, you'll find it there.
I wonder, I don't know how it did at the box office. So maybe you're heading out of the blockbuster territory for your final.
I'm definitely heading out of the top 5 movies of the year. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's not
the first two you picked were the top two, right?
But then we realized Rocky 3 was number 3. So if I chose that would be chaos if we only did Rocky 3.
Chaos. Meanwhile, let's get into my silly cult pick for our main event today, which is The Last Unicorn.
Favorite movie?
I bet. And your new favorite song, your new favorite soundtrack for sure. Sung by 70s folk masters America. Who, if you've heard Muskrat Love or Sister Golden Hair, or just any sort of milquetoast music played at sort of a bonfire, then you've heard America. And voice cast, talk about having your finger on the pulse of who kids like. You've got,
I mean, a lot of notable people, but you're right. Yeah,
I was like, you've got Robert Klein, Angela Lansbury, Alan Arkin.
I mean, Lansbury would be killing it in a huge Disney movie 9 years later, but
and Christopher Lee, obviously, who I don't know if there's a Lord of the Rings connection with Christopher Lee, as he's a massive Tolkien fan and obviously, is in the live action movies, but this animated film was based on a novel, a well-regarded novel, kids fantasy novel from the late 60s by Peter S. Beagle, who would also write. This dude also sang. He wrote screenplays. Like he wrote the actual, I think he wrote the teleplays for the Rankin Bass Lord of the Rings and Return of the Kings animated series. And he wrote the screenplay for the adaptation of his own book. And The Last Unicorn has a much different animated style look to it than Disney or even Don Bluth's Secret of Nim, which we watched two episodes ago.
Yeah.
Rankin Bass were famous in the 60s and 70s for their holiday specials, most notably like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman. And these were things and they had like a Thanksgiving special, and they just had a ton of these short TV things that they did forever and gained a lot of notoriety and fame for it. And they also were the first animation studio to outsource their animation to Japan. And so there is a difference in animation style here. And there's a reason why this feature film feels like a TV animated special in some cases, like the woods and the movement of the characters. There were right, especially at the beginning, felt like I was watching like a 70s TV special.
Yeah, I mean, and I think this is their only feature film, but they were coming off of The Hobbit and The Return of the King animated specials that aired on TV, but were like feature length. They were like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So, they were now doing longer stuff because everything else had been these half-hour, very iconic specials, one that people still watch today. But yeah, you watch the beginning of this, and obviously it's like, because Secret of Nim has like really impressive animation. In fact, Bluth was trying to one up Disney because he felt they were working on the cheap at the time. You can tell this does not have the money behind it of either Secret of Nim or even like Fox and the Hound or other Disney movies of this era.
and just knowing, like, I'm not the physical media guru like you are, but like knowing that Shout Factory put out a Blu-ray enchanted edition of this makes me very curious.
They did. I didn't see that. Oh.
So The Last Unicorn, I remember vividly seeing in the theater as a kid, and yet this is what passed for kids entertainment. As much as it sort of might
Last Unicorn,
as much as it might sort of bore you now, decades later as a grown-up watching it, it is the Red Bull scared the shit out of me. Again, I told you that I was picking movies that I saw as a kid that it had notable sequences that scared the shit out of me. First being Nim, second being Last Unicorn. The Red Bull, which is not what the energy drink is named after, which would be cool. It would be cool if it was named after this. Really looks like the Balrog, also in Lord of the Fellowship of the Rings, the first Lord of the Rings movie. Like the close up of that, the way that the horns go and the flames behind it and the red face. Very specifically, the final scene where it's chasing the Last Unicorn down the beach, and I vividly remember like just being in awe of the wave of unicorns like coming over. I don't remember anything else as far as like not jiving with the music or being like, this is stupid or anything like that. Like those memories are buried somewhere in me.
You were all in. The funny thing is, not only had I never seen this movie, but I really have no recollection of its existence. As a kid, as I got older, I was aware there was a movie called The Last Unicorn, but like I don't remember it opening. I don't remember anything about it existing at that time that I was a kid. So it was just completely new to me. I didn't know what it was about beyond the title, and I certainly didn't know that there was a lot of notable actors, albeit ones that were not going to be anything that kids would care about. What do you think? That I always massacre his last name, Rene Auberjois.
It is Auberjois. Rene Auberjois. Who we grew up with as a character on Benson, but became famous for Deep Space Nine. A great actor, but I was fascinated that he gets the "and" credit. He gets the most prestigious credit in a cast with a lot of notable people. Maybe he just has a huge career that we're unaware of on Broadway. A lot of these people are Broadway performers.
Well, I mean, he definitely had a Broadway career. At the time this movie was made, he was on Benson, but I guess that Benson energy gave him that prestige.
Man, how big a show was Benson? I know it was a spinoff. It was successful.
It was on for a few years, but it felt like I'm just assuming he had good representation because that's a negotiated credit. They don't just give you that. So I was impressed. Good job, Rene.
Good job, Rene Auberjois. By the way, so for those who don't know, he voiced at the end the surly skeleton who was hesitant to give them clues to the tunnel to the Red Bull. Eric, I saw this movie as you moved into New York City for middle school. It was a Cineplex Odeon, the one up on like 108th Street and Broadway and 9th Street, wherever that was.
The one where we saw Say Anything and followed Dana Carvey and John Lovitz.
For like 30 blocks. Yeah. That one. So that's where I saw it. It didn't do well. I think critically it was fine, but it didn't do well in the theater. And let's dig into it here. And Mia Farrow too. Kids love the Mia Farrow as the Last Unicorn / Lady Amalthea. And we've kind of got Alan Arkin and Jeff Bridges in this movie, both doing their kind of their David Duchovny best a little bit, where they're kind of like, we're used to really great animated performances now from actors, not just voice actors, but like, when you're an actor, you best get into the animated game and do voice acting too. And we've got some really great people out there who could do really great voice stuff. I would say Jeff Bridges and Alan Arkin aren't doing that in this movie so much.
Well, it's
especially Jeff Bridges, but or they're just miscast. They're so dry. Like Jeff Bridges as like the dragon fighting hero, he's just like, hey, how you doing? And so is Alan Arkin. Like they're both kind of they're giving us like a real low blood sugar showing here.
I mean, I guess I don't totally agree with you about Arkin. I do agree with Bridges, who doesn't seem, and there's this people like who just Sebastian Stan was not good in What If. And it's like, people, it's a skill to be like a voiceover actor. Yeah. And I think you stick like any actor in a booth and go like, you do it here. And then they might not be able to bring it in a way that they can on set. Because I think Sebastian Stan has given great performances, but Jeff Bridges, same thing. It just doesn't work. But Bridges comes in really only in the last act. It's funny because it's like he's kind of an important character, but really not until later in the movie. Arkin is like kind of the male lead of this movie. He's like the second most prominent character. Schmendrick. That the thing that sticks out, Matt, to me most was the character name being Schmendrick, and also that Arkin. Because I'm only used to Arkin's like, old man. Arkin's one of those actors that I can't picture young, and he's always been like an old curmudgeon. Totally. So he's playing a younger character, and he is a younger man, but his voice doesn't even sound like Alan Arkin. I guess I don't agree. I thought Alan Arkin didn't sound like he was given the same kind of like too low key performance, but it was also just weird. It just didn't.
It's also weird to have a wizard named after like the Yiddish word for idiot. So Schmendrick. And so we start basically with this beautiful forest and this unicorn just living her life, and then some drunken bozo hunter walks in and says, well, it sucks to be the last one, and then leaves. And I'm like, that's a big presumption, but also it sort of awakens the last unicorn to being like, wait, am I the last one? Which is a weird thing. But anyway, you got to kick off the story somehow. It's just weird that the last unicorn didn't notice that there were no other unicorns around, and come to that conclusion herself.
It's so funny. But it's like when she goes, I'm the only unicorn there is. The last, I put in parentheses, news to me. But it's like, you've never met another unicorn. Like you have no reason, I guess, to think that there's no other in the world, but also you shouldn't think like there's gotta be more because you've never seen another one.
They must always just be around the corner, right? Like it's just like, I'm always missing these other unicorns. But anyway, also, by the way, this guy was right.
This movie has a great, but also this movie has a great, and I don't know if it was a person or a company, but I did like the title card, Lord Grade Presents, Grade. I don't know what Lord Grade is. Is it a person, a thing? But it's a great title.
A production house? I don't know. And then, of course, the last unicorn song. The last unicorn. I probably really love that. I'm imagining that I really love that song.
Well, you do know how much I approve of 80s movies having theme song, like title track theme songs.
And this has its own theme song, and then it also has songs. The best song is obviously the Walking Man's Road song. Walking Man's Road. Which is used twice when they are on the Walking Man's Road, which just means walking around.
Which plays like a Wet Hot American Summer parody, song.
Well, I mean, then we also get a Mia Farrow, Jeff Bridges duet. So, which I was,
and Mia Farrow's kind of doing a light British accent. There's a lot of
a little bit, a little elevated. While Alan Arkin's
it doesn't
doing
sound. I wouldn't know it was her. I mean, it's.
Well, I didn't know it was her either because I didn't know who she was when I saw this movie. Sure. I wasn't aware of any of these people.
You weren't aware that we would be going to school with a bunch of her children.
All I knew was that the Midnight Carnival was a fucking rad name for anything. Sure. It should be a wrestling stable. And where the Angela Lansbury's evil witch or whoever she was, Mommy Fortuna, who runs the Midnight Carnival, which keeps all these some real creatures and some illusions creatures. So anyway, last unicorn decides that maybe she should check out if this is true that she's the last one and where all these things in. And she runs into this insufferable butterfly played by Robert Klein, who
funny man Robert Klein,
stage performer Robert Klein, basically anachronistically singing a bunch of it's a cross between show tunes and lullabies and turn of the last century jazz hall standards and it's the one that really there are two that threw me. One was just have you seen The Muffin Man? Mm-hmm. What? But then the big one, because it doesn't fit the era at all, is
take the A train, Ella Fitzgerald, because train, like there's no train in this reality. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and he hits her with "Won't you come home, Bill Bailey?" And there's just and so within that, I guess he's trying to give her clues that he tells her about the Red Bull chasing all the unicorns away, and that's all she kind of has to go on. He can't stop singing. He leaves. He also can't stop his leg. Huh? Anyone? Robert Klein can't stop my leg. Okay.
No.
So you don't know that?
I don't know.
Eric, Robert Klein can't stop his leg.
All right.
I was relying on you being the only other person to get my Robert Klein right.
I'm not a Klein head. I'm sorry.
It's okay. He's mid anyway. So.
Hot take, Fowler.
Robert Klein, mid.
We're gonna take down Robert Klein.
Okay. So then she like walks for what seems like 100 years. I don't know, but there's snow. There's a desert. All the seasons pass.
Much more in my notes. I put much more simple backgrounds compared to Nim.
Yeah. It's just very basic. And this is when she gets taken by the Midnight Carnival, where creatures of the night are brought to light, Eric. And one of the many stops on their trip. And yeah, so she gets kidnapped and caged up.
And I will say, 1 second, I just want to say that as much as the animation's obviously a lot, they didn't have the budget. It's much more simplistic, but there are some cool images. Like I put how I thought the Red Bull, when you see it behind the unicorns and at this point, and also the visual of just all the animals watching her leave. It's like, okay, that's a cool image on its own.
Yeah. I mean, look, the images of the Red Bull I think are really cool. I think they're still really cool. I love them. But then also the harpy and the manticore. I mean, there's good stuff in here. It's not all like bargain bin. There's some interesting things happening. Walking Man's Road, still a bop. Holiday Road would have been better probably, but
yeah. We're a year away from vacation opening, so if only
we had National Lampoon's Last Unicorn. It would be more like a Euro trip scenario.
Van Wilder meets the Last Unicorn.
Yeah, so they're all illusions except for this harpy. And then there's this lore inserted in here about how the harpy is like the decrepit dark side of the unicorn's purity, like they're two sides of the same coin and they exist sort of to counterbalance each other. But this is another one of those 80s animated family movies. This was a G movie featuring just murder. Yeah, it just was a thing that happened. Yeah. Because you and I talked during Nim that bad guys were usually dispatched. The way the villain is actually dispatched at the end of this movie, falling. Yes. Falling was a big thing, not just someone eating your face, which is what happens when the harpy is let out and turns on Mama Fortuna. And do you remember, Eric, where the riddle when is a raven like a writing desk, or why is a raven like a writing desk comes from? That was the riddle Schmendrick gave the Hunchback to.
Now I don't know the source of it beyond that. Okay,
so that was that's from Alice in Wonderland. That was a Mad Hatter thing that who wrote that? Who wrote Alice in Wonderland? What the fuck was that?
What's his name?
Pedophile's name. What was
it? I was gonna say, what's the pervy guy's name?
What's that awful guy? Anyway.
Lewis something?
Lewis Carroll. Lewis Carroll answered the riddle later on in a updated foreword, and the answer to why is a raven like a writing desk is because it can produce a few notes and they are very flat. Okay.
I also want to mention that when she is in the carnival, I found it unsettling because she's a real unicorn that only what's her name? Lansbury's character, Mama Fortuna.
Fortuna, like Bib Fortuna, it's his mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only she can see. Well, Schmendrick can too, but most people cannot see that she's a real unicorn. So it's like this weird thing where she's a real unicorn being posed at a carnival as though she's a fake unicorn. So she's got her real horn that everyone can't see, but then but we can see it. And then she has a fake horn stuck on her too for the show. And I found that unsettling. The fakey and the real next to each other.
So, and we should bring up some pieces of plot that they bring up here, like inserted into. One is, like you just said, people can't see unicorns, and she's often mistaken for a white mare. It's just one of those things.
She's very offended by that.
Yeah, gross. The other one is an weird one. Doesn't quite land right, which is that for whatever reason, unicorns can never experience regret, but they can feel sorrow. So
this is like the Jedi rules. They're kind of weird, and
yeah, it's kind of like, as an enlightened pure being, they're sort of also detached and cold in some regard, and also like they're a lot like Jack Reacher. Never look back. You know what I mean? Like I never have regrets. But guess what happens at the end, Eric? She has an regret.
She does.
It's a single regret, because she becomes human and falls in love, and therefore you feel the sads. Okay, so yeah, the Harpy murders Mama Fortuna
and her right-hand man,
and Ruck, voiced by someone named Brother Theodore, and I don't know who that is. And yeah, then they're off to their next adventure, which is like this. And so it's the next adventure.
Don't forget, we were told that she chose her death long ago. It was the fate she wanted about Mommy Fortuna. So that's how she wanted to go.
Some creepy shit, by the way. Yeah. I would be like, what? And I'd want to like talk about that more. But then Schmendrick just lets it go. He's like, all right. The next crew they come across is sort of this Robin Hood gang that is almost implied is the real Robin Hood, while Robin Hood exists as a myth and a legend, that this is what it's based on. And it's Captain Cully's crew, where they pick up Molly Grew. And I have very vivid memories of Molly Grew as a character, mostly because of Molly Grew's voice. And Molly, it just very pronounced, like sort of shrieky voice, because there's several moments in this movie where Molly like is very upset. Like, why have you come to me when I'm an old woman? Or why did you turn her human? Or how could you do that? Like, she's very upset all the time. And I remember, I just remember it a lot. Like, that was something that stuck with me for all these years, is remembering watching this movie again. I'm like, oh my God, I remember this classic Molly rant. She goes
but it's funny. That's another person where Tammy Grimes, who voiced her, I thought I knew the voice, but it's like I don't really know her.
No, I don't. Yeah. You'd think it's like, oh, what famous person is playing this? And I'm like, I don't know who this is.
I mean, she has other notable credits, but not ones you or I would be like, aha, that's it.
Yeah, very much when she finds out that there's a unicorn and how upset she was. That's the one I remember most, because it's like, why am I only seeing you now when I'm this?
Well, yeah, that was a whole weird thing about where have you been? Damn you! Where have you been?
I remember that. Yeah, it just sticks with you.
They get a couple dams in there.
Not only do they get a couple dams in there, they get a couple of tits in there too. with the Chesty LaRue tree coming.
The tree boobs were very unsettling.
Schmendrick is I guess
the tree, because at first it looks like a butt when he like just the way they tie him up is weird. Like, why would they tie him up like that? And it's frankly unsettling. Like, they're going to do some really bad stuff to him, and then it turns out
you know why they tied him up.
Then it turns out the tree butt turns into tree boobs.
Maybe you could just switch back and forth, boobs. And
he goes, "Oh God, I'm engaged to a Douglas fir."
He's working on his Type 5 over
classic Schmendrick.
Fucking Schmendrick. Just kind of for no reason. I don't know. I have no recollection of this, nor what I thought about it seeing it in the theater as a child. I have no idea.
Mommy, what's happening?
What is happening? She's like, I have no idea. I'm assuming my mom took me too.
And I also just didn't understand what Molly, because her whole rant, like, how dare you come to me when I am this, basically saying you came to me too late. I'm she's not old, but I guess she's supposed to be like middle age. But what was she gonna do for her when she was young? I don't know. What was
I don't know. Yeah, give her a better future, like make it so that she wouldn't have wound up in the woods with these bozos. I don't know what the implications were, but she was mad about it.
Yeah.
I'll just take her word for it. Just never tell her to calm down. That's not going to work. Let's see. So now they've got an extra person in their caravan. They've got Molly coming along. She fits in the crew. They got some. And they learned that the Red Bull belongs to King Haggard, who lives by the sea. They don't know what the bull does. If the bull's real, if the bull's keeping Haggard hostage, or if the bull's just chilling, as bulls do. So they're going to, then they actually go to the kingdom. Let's see, and we meet Christopher Lee as King Haggard, who who keeps nothing near him that doesn't make him happy. But
you're skipping her turning into a human.
That's happened. Right. I'm trying to look at my notes.
Which is where in my notes I have, do I see a butt? I already knew, because I already had the unclear tree butt that became boobs. But then we got.
You're talking about like human form naked
human butt,
unicorn butt.
Yeah, because this is a rated G, and this is a pretty healthy amount of nudity that they get. I mean, they use the long hair to hide anything on the front, but they definitely got some cartoon butt gets in this movie.
Yeah, this Last Unicorn has as much nudity as the boys episode Herogasm.
I think that script piece said that was a huge influence on that.
Which I just caught up with this morning, by the way. So in a pinch and desperate to save her from the Red Bull, who does appear in the forest and is sort of like going to kill her, Schmendrick turns the unicorn into Schmendrick's ace up his sleeve is to turn her human, which icky poo poo pewy with the Red Bull wants nothing to do with this. So saves her life, but has like sullied her, like how dare you, like she doesn't like this body.
She's hot though, Matt.
Molly's upset. She's so hot. She's like she drives the king's son to like go murder everyone for her. That's
but
how
also
hot she is.
She has a great line after she turns human, which is, I can feel this body dying all around me.
Yeah, she's becoming immortal, becoming something that's going to die. Something which she'll, by the end of the movie, she'll want to do. She's like, I want to die.
Right, it sounds pretty great.
Give me some death. Isn't that a line from The Doors? Isn't that what Jim Morrison says to Meg Ryan? I can't remember.
I think.
I mean, like what Val Kilmer says to Meg Ryan and Jim Morrison says to whomever Meg Ryan was playing. He wants her to stab him. He's like, give me some death. I'm like, oh boy, Jim Morrison, you are a lot.
Have you been to his grave in Paris, Matt?
I haven't been to Paris, so no.
Well, when you go to Paris, you go to his grave. That's what you do.
Is that what you do?
Yeah.
You go to Jim Morrison's grave?
You do. I did it twice.
I don't know if I want to go to Paris. Let's
nice.
see. Yeah, seems. I think Paris is mid.
Well, everything is mid, so you're right.
Okay, so then we learn that King Haggard is very fickle, keeps nothing near him that doesn't make him happy, though he does have a magician's magician, which sounds insufferable, Eric, named Maverick or whoever. And he's got his son, who we later learn isn't really his son. He just wanted to try out being a father for a little bit.
Sure.
Which is why King Haggard looks old and haggard. And the son, what's his name? Lear? Prince Lear?
Yes.
Is blonde and studly and voiced by Jeff Bridges.
And I laughed a lot when because again, it's like he kind of comes in here in this, final part of the movie. But yeah, as he starts talking to her, the music kicks in. But it's not really a love song per se, because that's
it's the In the Trees song. First, there's the In the Trees song where we see the raven fly off and like the passing of time, because as she's in the human body, she's forgetting her unicorn self.
Well, is this where she sings, "Now that I'm a woman, everything is strange. now that I'm a woman, everything has changed. She's a great
yeah, it could
director.
be.
Sure.
It could be now that I'm a woman, because the other one is That's All I've Got to Say, which is what she sings with Jeff Bridges.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. And yeah, he sings not great.
Yeah, no, not really great. And so she's in this castle. The king is suspicious of her, but she's also forgetting why she's there, the fact that she wants to find the unicorns. And all the while, Prince Lear is falling in love with her and bringing her the heads of things. It's kind of like a cat, where it's like just dumping carcasses at her feet.
And this movie has a pirate cat in it.
It does. So that's the other thing about 80s animation, where there'll just be random things. We saw it in Nim. We see it in this, where there's just here's a cat that talks and also has an eye patch and
a peg leg.
Pirate speak. And a peg leg. Yeah. So you could, I guess we fill in our own backstory for this pirate cat, which is that it was cursed to be a cat. But then she has to sort of remember her main quest here, because she's getting distracted. Her eyes are off the prize. She's lost in the sauce, and Molly, though, isn't really helping, because she's trying to give Lear advice as to how to woo her. It's like, hey, maybe don't kill everything. Right. And he's got this weird rhetoric where he's like, I'm a hero, and this is what heroes do. And it comes back at the end too, which is also weird.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It gets really weird about being a hero.
Especially because literally, like, what you just said is like a line that is said as a joke in Thor Ragnarok, because that's what heroes do. but Lear he fucking means it. He's like, I am a hero.
My favorite part of that, though, is that he goes and he instantly gets killed by the Red Bull. It's not even a battle.
He doesn't have much of a plan. He's just like, I'm a hero. I leap in front of this thing. Yeah. Die. So.
And then, so what's the thing here? Okay, so they got to find the Red Bull. Oh, so the most important thing about this part too is the fact that Lear's falling in love with her. Eventually, she's going to fall in love for whatever reason with Lear. And then she also learns that Haggard had the unicorns purposely driven into the sea so that he could see them in the water, which is really creepy. Like, he's like, I could see them kind of drowning on the shore. The king. And then anytime they get close to the shore, the Red Bull chases them back into the ocean. It's awful. So while you're taking your cruises, Eric, I want you to think about that.
I will.
I'm
going to look for him.
And then basically they have to find the tunnel, and that's when we get the Rene Auberjois voiced skeleton.
Who laughs like... he is. I put laughing skeleton is creepy fun in my notes, and he laughs like Evil Ed in Fright Night. He's got a very distinct big laugh that he does.
Oh, I never saw the original Fright Night.
You never seen the original Fright Night?
Oh, no, I saw the remake. Why would I need to see the original? I obviously saw the better version of it. Actually, the one I saw wasn't bad, but I imagine I would
name that as one of the better of our decade of horror remakes. But the original is very good. You should see it at some point.
And then basically they discover the Red Bull and unleash the Red Bull, and she's running from the Red Bull. Remind me when she gets turned back into a unicorn. We should also mention him finding out she is a unicorn, which just because he's got this little speech I typed when he says unicorn, mermaid, sorcerer, no name you give her would surprise me. I love who I love, and I put in parentheses, I will fuck this unicorn. Yeah, he's just like, you've heard of horse girls? Well, I'm a horse boy.
I'm a horse boy through that. She's like, never call me a horse.
She's like, ugh, this is disgusting. And Schmendrick's like, well, I'll fuck a tree. And they're like, and they high five.
And they go, what a world.
The last unicorn. All right. So the climax is the Red Bull is going to kill Lear. Schmendrick changes her back into a unicorn to basically take the bull away, chases her down, but then Lear leaps in front of the bull, gets killed. That actually gives her a swell of courage to stand up to the bull, drives the bull into the ocean. Cue the wave of unicorns driving the Red Bull into the water, dispelling him, also crumbling the castle at the same time, which kills King Haggard,
whose final words are the last. I knew you were the last.
Yeah. I mean, like,
but Christopher Lee says it, so it sounds better than that.
It does. I mean, yours is pretty good.
Thank you.
Yours is the second best. That's the only other person I've heard say the line.
Yeah, sure. In the history,
yeah, it's pretty good. And then now she knows what regret is and love, and she's no longer like the others. You can't go home again, Eric. You know what I mean? Like she's freed all the unicorns, but she's not like them. She knows of a different existence.
She's not like most unicorns. And it turns out that she can save her horse or her horse boy, Lear.
Oh yeah, she can heal,
horn.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we get the last unicorn song again, and the forest is all green, and the day is saved as the unicorns will once again make the world pretty and pure for all to frolic.
And we get, because there's talk about will she even remember her time as a human or her time with Lear, but she says, I remember you. I remember. So yes, as you said, she feels regret now.
And he's like, I'll still fuck you. It's a thing where, and a lot of movies do this, but it's present here too, where we're never quite clear how much time passes through this whole thing, because how long was she on her own before she meets Schmendrick? How long is she human in that castle for real? Like, how, what is the passing of time here? What is time anyway? It's all made up.
What is time? And then a couple Schmendrick notes here at the end.
Oh, good. My favorite note.
He has an interesting line when he assures Lear, don't worry. He goes, she will remember your heart when men are fairy tales and books written by rabbits.
Oh, are you going to do my favorite line of his, which is like, I actually almost want to put on TikTok, because there's a trend, which is like, what's the most profound thing you've heard from like the least profound source?
I don't think I have it, because the only other thing I put that he says is just saying to Molly, like, come with me, I will, which I guess is like they're in love now. But
I have his very deep thought, which is there are no happy endings because nothing ends.
Oh yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Classic, great Schmendrick. No, but I like that thing about she'll remember you your heart when men are fairy tales and books written by rabbits, basically being like men are gonna die and rabbits will outlive us and they'll write one day.
Yeah, well, in this world, it's like Planet of the Apes, but for rabbits, just like how Super Mario Brothers was like with the lizards.
Right. But when should we assume, based on that goddamn Butterflies song, that there were trains at one point?
Is this an Adventure Time scenario where it's actually the future?
Right. I Planet of the Apes being another example.
Yeah, where it's actually Adventure Time takes place after the world has annihilated itself with nuclear weapons, and it's this sort of like weird, surreal fantasy.
I'm going to say it is.
Yeah, let's just say that. Let's just come out and say that it's not just our headcanon, it's actual canon.
There was, nuclear holocaust. These are the last humans. Rabbits will rise up after that. So there you go.
Rabbits are next in line, as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the year of the rabbit, or the hare in the Chinese zodiac. You are too. We both.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, yes. And then it did feel notable to me that it does the there are like scenes over the closing credits of her like returning to her like fellow unicorns and whatnot.
And she's like, I'm not like you.
Right.
I'm not like other unicorns. Yeah.
The melancholy feel of it as America takes us home.
I mean, there's some elements here that remind me of Lord of the Rings. I feel like this book and this movie based on the book were influenced by some Tolkien stuff going on, which is like Frodo coming back and not feeling the same. It's the same with her. There's other parts of it that I mentally noted but can't recall now, but there are just a few things that out there that just the element of there being an odyssey and a quest and a journey as well, where you meet different things. It's as a massive influential fantasy author, obviously I can only assume, and the fact that he wrote the screenplays for the animated series that Rankin and Bass did, that Peter S. Beagle was a huge Tolkien mark, right? A big Tolkien stan.
I mean, they're literally coming off of doing those adaptations, which at the time were the most and best adaptations Lord of the Rings and Hobbit had gotten. So definitely that everyone involved creatively here, they are living that Tolkien life.
All right, that was the last unicorn. That I think it's I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not something that I'm easily sucked back into like I am with like something like Nim, which I can understand too if people are watching both of these movies now, kind of like crawling out of their own skull because they're sort of like plotting early 80s animation. Yeah. We're used to things being a lot more kinetic. And
their pacing are not great.
Yeah. So I totally get that. I just have a fondness for some of these old properties, using nostalgia goggles as it were.
And me having zero nostalgia. Nim I had nostalgia for, but this I had zero because I'd never seen it. And I didn't love it, but as an animation buff, I did like seeing this little sliver of it because Rankin and Bass like have a notable place in animation history. I mean, again, they made a huge impact with those holiday specials, which again people still watch today. So I did like checking out their sort of foray into feature films and schmendricking.
All right, we'll do it for Last Unicorn. Next week, the precursor to Living Your Life Quarter Mile at a Time, The Year of Living Dangerously. We'll do that movie, Peter Weir joint, starring Mel Gibson and Linda Hunt and Sigourney Weaver. And those are the real notable names, yeah? Like, I think everyone else was probably just an Australian who starred on Neighbours somehow. Which just ended, right?
It turns out, we an important update. I'm sorry I missed to tweeted that to us. But right after we mentioned the factory, the Hollywood factory that is Neighbours, that it just was announced that it is finally coming to an end.
So then, how long was it on?
Let's look this up.
Let's see. As our final act of this podcast will be joint Googling.
Neighbours soap opera. While we're doing that, 1985.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So, and then what's the Home and Again or Home and Away? Home and Away.
You were the one who brought that one up. I don't think I'd heard of
it. Which was brought up in one of our replies on Twitter when I said, who will supply us with beautiful and talented actors? Home and Away, which does have notable people from it as well, just not as many as Neighbours. Like Chris Hemsworth was on that one, and a bunch of other people, but just Neighbours has like a million people. So I guess maybe Neighbours' death is Home and Away's gain. We'll find out.
All right. R.I.P. Schmendrick. I don't know.
I don't know. Schmendrick's gonna live forever.
He could, because he's got to be there to see the rabbits take over.
Maybe I'll turn into a rabbit.
And be like, oh no, I knew it. All right. Until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real. And Walking Man's Road and Shakma.
Schmendrick and Schmackma. Schmackma. Schmendrick.
Schmackma works.
Yeah, I believe Schmendrick.